Bringing Tom Dupree now, former Deputy Assistant AG. Tom, good afternoon to you. A couple that I want to fire at you first, and then we'll get to a few issues here. What is the legal question before this appellate panel?
Sure. The legal question before this appellate panel is whether or not the president acted within his constitutional authority when he removed these individuals without giving, a hearing, a notice to them before removing them from the country. So they're basically going to determine the boundaries of the president's power to execute the immigration laws of the United States.
Okay, second question. Does it matter if the order was written or oral? Friday a week and a half ago, Saturday morning that followed when these planes were apparently leaving?
I don't think it does. I mean, look, if a judge gives you an order from the bench, if he speaks it, it usually carries the same force as if it's something he wrote. But that doesn't necessarily answer the question as to whether or not the Trump administration violated the order. And they've been adamant. They said that they fully complied with the order. And that's something that Judge Boasberg himself is looking into right now. And I suspect the Court of Appeals will also take a look at that question.
Does it matter if they're U.S. citizens? Because they weren't.
Well, it does matter in the sense that the power that the president is asserting here, the Alien Enemies Act, applies to non-citizens who are in the United States that the president is removing because they are connected with a hostile power. And if they are citizens of the United States, you can't invoke that act. So the fact that they are non-citizens mean, yes, they are going to get a lot less due process into something like this than a citizen of the United States.
This whole issue of due process, something that we got to hang on so we can understand it. Chuck Schumer was on NBC. Here we go with Kristen Welker, and it went this way, Tom.
Do you agree, is the United States in a constitutional crisis?
Yes, I do, Kristen, and democracy is at risk. Look, Donald Trump is a lawless, angry man. He thinks he should be king. He thinks he should do whatever he wants, regardless of the law. And he thinks judges should just listen to him.
Heard a couple things in there. Constitutional crisis, democracy at risk. Kind of felt like it was 2017 all over again, Tom.
Yeah, Bill, I do not agree with Senator Schumer. And look, the fact is what is going on right now in the D.C. circuit is a constitutional argument, a constitutional battle, a constitutional showdown. But I don't think it approaches the realm of a constitutional crisis. The D.C. circuit is getting, frankly, to one of the fundamental questions under our Constitution, which is how broad are the president's powers under Article 2? I think most lawyers, most reasonable lawyers, would say they're quite broad. Does that mean that judges have zero role to play? Maybe, maybe not. But that's what the Court of Appeals is deciding, and we're certainly not in a constitutional crisis.
Why hasn't this issue been taken to the U.S. Supreme Court until now?
Because this is a statute that is rarely invoked. The last time that a president invoked it was back in wartime in World War II. And so the courts just haven't had occasion to determine how broad a president's authority is under this law. However this gets resolved, it is going to be an important precedent. Is this going to say whether or not Trump can continue?
Let me try and ask it a different way, though, because what you're seeing on the screen here is how many times district judges have intervened in executive orders over the past, 14, 18, 20 years. Why, based on this number, has the court not been forced to answer that question yet?
Right. Well, and that gets at the idea of judges jumping in and halting executive orders issued under any statute, not the Alien Enemies Act. And there's no question that judges are becoming far more intrusive and far more willing to enjoin presidents from exercising their authority than they've been in the past. That also may be because presidents Trump and going back to Obama and Bush have been more assertive and aggressive in claiming presidential authority.
Tom, thank you. It's not over.
Thank you, Bill.
It may not be over for some
It's
time.
not.
Tom Dupree, nice to see you again, and thank you for your time this afternoon.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.